Welcome this week. We are talking about the lunar changes over the course of the next couple days. We're talking about the new moon in Scorpio. And if you're looking to plan the next coming days, this is the right spot. In addition, if you hang out to the end of this video, you will get a small horoscope per sign so that you can see how these energies are specifically working for you this week. So let's get started. The week is the second week of November, November 7th through the 14th. Let me tell you why I choose Tuesday through Tuesday. I have been trying to earnestly figure out which days of the week I'm actually working to my best capacity. And what I'm realizing is that Tuesday is a Mars day, and I have Mars opposing Jupiter. So if I'm going to create any type of content, if I'm going to really push myself to make something of myself and my day, then I will apply myself on this day. And so that is why I pick through the week in this way. But everybody's different, you know. Starting with November 8th, because I felt like this was going to be a really good day to talk about. I think the biggest takeaway for this day is Venus changes signs into Libra. It's been in Virgo for a little bit of time, and it's now moving into the sign of Libra, which is its home sign. Venus is the planetary ruler of two signs, which is Taurus and Libra. So now we're experiencing the Libra aspect, so the purpose of this day is to observe how the moon is going to be affecting us throughout the rest of the week until we get to the new moon that is occurring on the 13th/14th, depending on where you live. So the most important thing to think about when you're applying yourself is, where do you have the energy to do the right things, particular to the day of the week, or maybe even the cycle of the moon. And so while my teacher is enacting this in our coursework, which is like really taking a close look at what do you do at particular moon cycles, how does the moon fall into your birth chart, and how should you apply yourself day after day so that you're kind of maximizing the energy of those times. And I'm really having a blast with it. So this is kind of the amalgamation of that. So I want to talk about the purpose of the Virgo moon. The moon represents the personalization of our lives. So we create safety and we're able to process effectively so that we can move forward to the next steps. Virgo overtones on the moon. We can become organized. We can manage our lives a little more effectively for at least 2.5 days. And we can bring critical thought patterns to maybe some things that have been really gnawing at us and we've needed to revitalize and refine, but we haven't had the energy. And so this moon is probably going to give you a bit of energy. Combined with the Scorpio sun, the sun can illuminate and bring forth what you're supposed to be doing for the day. And when the sun is in a different sign, you have the ample opportunity to use that particular sign's gifts and shadows to get your way across to the next season, which will be Sagittarius soon. So in order to utilize this energy in the best possible way with the Scorpio sun, the Virgo moon is going to bring these solutions to these like really annoying things that have been gnawing at you, things that make you feel full of lack. Now is the time to get functional about what particular things you'll do. So with the Scorpio sun, it can illuminate what needs to be changed, and the Virgo moon can come up with solutions on how that will be changed. Sometimes it can bring up crisis-oriented situations. I see with this day, the moon will be opposing Neptune. So, maybe we might push ourselves quite a bit as the moon starts to approach Venus, and we want to be more efficient, and we want to put out and give forth our best efforts. So this is a charge-fueled day. And you could enjoy a lot of what it has to bring if you are in the mindset of being productive. I feel like the next important day of the week was November 10th and 11th, because these planetary alignments are getting close to the new moon that's going to happen. And so there's some other things that are occurring before that comes through to kind of help us better assimilate what the lunar phase is trying to bring, trying to uncover, trying to unfurl in our bodies and our minds. So November 10th and 11th, the big takeaway is Mercury changes into the sign of Sagittarius, which is a really great thing because while Mercury is in Scorpio, you have the ability to really dive deep and to get into things that, you may not normally investigate. However, when Sagittarius comes around, it goes, hey friend, pick yourself up if you feel low, and let's learn to transform that. I'm here to transform that for you. I'm here to help you find the knowledge, help you find the resources so that you can feel better equipped. And so the purpose of this day and having the moon in Libra is really bringing on forth finally this taking the magnifying glass off of ourselves and giving ourselves the opportunity to think about the other. Because sometimes that can feel better than constantly working on ourselves, right? That never changes no matter where you are in the game. So if you can focus your efforts towards kind of amplifying, making sure that you fine tune and being a part of the outer world, like you're actually participating in a way that's really needed. When you're applying yourself in that way right now, you're utilizing the best energies for the Libra moon. So you will feel compelled to look at other people's experiences. You'll put yourself in other people's shoes. It's not a personal outlook, but more of an objective outlook. So being able to see that there are, so many people driving crazy today. I'm noticing that people can't make people can't make decisions, and you're going to notice it. You're going to have a very keen eye towards it. So with the moon in Virgo, as it was the day prior, we were in our ego, we were polishing things up so that we can turn the world around, and so that we can turn to the world and exist. Instead of just existing in here, we're existing out there. And we're saying, what did we learn from our personal experience that we can bring forth that might be of benefit to other people? And so it could be thoughts like that, and it could be a time where you could receive or retrieve things that you needed. I say that too because the moon is going to be on the nodal axis. The nodal axis, the north node is in Aries, and the south node is in Libra. So you could be awakened to something valuable that you possess when that occurs. Be aware. Now that you are seeing signs around you a little more clearly, be more aware of what's being spoken to you, because Mercury is really trying to bring nature into the picture. Go outside. So the moon on the nodes, it could leave you feeling as if now the lessons are supposed to be learned. Like now you're more keen to listening. And so you could be awakened to some valuable things that you possess that'll really kind of turn things around for you in the particular ways that you're really seeking right now. As Mercury moves into the sign of Sagittarius, we're going to talk about Mercury representing our environments, our communication, and what we see. And we catalog those as real events, as the reality of our lives. And we start to observe them as trends, and we start to see the pattern of what people are talking about. It's really how we learn. And it's also transportation. So there's a lot of movement, whether through physical cars or a lot of movement of words through communication. And so when it moves into the sign of Sagittarius, we can become more risk-oriented. It is a sign that can and will kind of pump up, a life experience and try to make it more fun. In the sign of Sagittarius, we can become more risk-oriented. It may be a more positive and kind of gregarious time. You could be using your words in a more uplifted way and able to see the upside to things. So Mercury being in Sagittarius is a true blessing after all of the really deep work that we've done with the sign of Scorpio. The downside to this expression, however, is that we could take things too far. And so what comes in and out of our mouths is extremely important. And what comes in and out of your mouth in terms of using your words for good, using your food for best benefit, and really considering what your body has to go through when you take in too much. Mercury square Saturn is coming up on this day as well, on the November 10th and 11th. So you could have difficulty with authority or asserting who's right in a conversation. You might see that you weren't right all along, and that maybe you need more training, maybe you need more education, maybe there's something else that you're needing that is lacking at this moment, because the sun is in Scorpio, and so is Mars, and so there's still that tendency to really take a snapshot of what we don't have and where we really want to upscale. You might be dealing with people who are not showing up. They could be inaccessible, or you could be dealing with someone who micromanages things to death. So there could be an extreme of either of those two, because the sign of Sagittarius can bring extremes in order to know what that boundary actually is. Your boundary of irritation, your boundary of you speaking up, your boundary of saying no. So if you see things kind of really starting to come online and it's really exaggerated, it's just for you to be more aware. Wake up, things are happening around you. Okay, and so next we're going to talk about the new moon in Scorpio. Yay, the new moon in Scorpio. The purpose of this lunar activation is when you have a new moon, it always means that you are in a seeding phase where you're coming up with ideas, where you are trying to uncover something that you've been looking for. And you could be reclaiming a lot right now, pulling things back to yourself, remembering things that no longer serve you, and just saying, hey, I realize things for what they are. With Mercury and in Sagittarius on this day, it's going to make things a little easier to come into grasp. So the moon in Scorpio, it exposes a level of shadow work that needs to be dealt with. And it may not be in your arsenal. It may not be something that you've used before. So be open to different forms of digging deep, digging into the center of yourself. Because when you do that, Sagittarius season will bring some of these more positive aspects to you so that the rest of the winter, you're able to easily kind of deal with the darkness, the less light in the northern hemisphere because of winter, and you wanting to keep yourself in better spirits. So Scorpio is an emotional sign, and because it wants to get to the depth or to the bottom of what's lacking, Mars in Scorpio really wants you to stop being in survival mode so much. And so it's really starting to prepare you for a different way, a more upgraded way of being, because Uranus is on the other side of that. I also wanted to talk about how to care for the body in this time. So the parts of the body that are easily affected through these energies of the week will be the hips, which is ruled by the sign of Sagittarius, the root chakra, which is thought about as a Saturn concept, and also the sign of Capricorn rules that, and the sexual organs, which is the sign of Scorpio. We are dealing with all of these different energies as a whole. So if your lower portion just feels heavy, feels like you have a lot of energy moving through, if you are menstruating, or if you have fibroids, if you process a lot through your womb, this could be a heavy time for you. Just take really good care. Take the things that you know that will soothe you, and be in water. I wanted to mention before we get into the horoscopes that on December 9th, my teacher Maurice Fernandez is hosting a webinar online. It's called Evolutionary Bites. It is where 11 astrologers gather to talk about the new energies of 2024, and I happen to be on the lineup. So I wanted to put that out there. The link in the description is below, whether you would need to find out how to get to it or the actual link, the Zoom link to register for it. It's free, so if you just want to participate and you want to receive a recording, just go ahead and register with the Zoom link. It'll be the easiest way. And you'll get to learn all kinds of different ways that the next year is really going to help you, and also finding what pitfalls may come up, and you can be like, okay, well, I know that next April is going to be a hell of a time, if that's really what's being said, and you can prepare yourself. I'm talking about Saturn and Jupiter. It does encompass, a portion of time, but it exacts on a particular day. So I'll be talking about those transits. It'll be a lot of fun. I think you'll get a lot of benefit out of it. You have reached the part of the video where we talk about the horoscope for each individual sign and how this energy can affect your sun, your moon, or your ascendant. So listen for all three of those and really think about how the blend of things together can give you a full range of how to live your life in a really good way this week. Aries, hi. You are ruled by Mars, and Mars is in Scorpio this month. And so you have a unique advantage of shedding or figuring out an exit plan. However, you may need to fix things before you go, so you can't leave it too quickly or prematurely. Waiting is the higher expression because you aren't coming from a very frantic or unplanned place. It really is coming from a more educated thought process. If you're in a relationship, I implore you to use better words by becoming transparent. You can't just blow up on people or snap off on people because you have not explained what you're going through. Not everybody deserves an explanation, but I'm talking about the ones who you really care for, that you don't have to apologize to later. You want to have to avoid going back and fixing things in that way. So use your words in a better way by being transparent, because the truth is okay. The truth is okay. Hi, Taurus. Taurus, you are ruled by Venus, and Venus is changing into the sign of Libra. And so this is an expression of you coming out of your shell and into the outer world. And that is what Venus is in Libra, because it also rules that sign and you. You're being tasked to make work feel like an upper level opportunity. And I mean that as in whatever you're applying yourself to right now in terms of your work, or in terms of your daily routine, in terms of your health and habits, you're tasked to see how to level that up a little bit. You can't stay stagnant. You need to increase. You need to move your body. You need to keep moving. And now is a time where we can kind of bundle up and not move at all. And so this movement, if you're able to kind of give yourself that oomph, then increasing your resources might be a likely thing that you'll think about. And through this thought process, it might be wise to think about re-educating yourself in something that could give you that push towards more financial stability and or finding answers to questions that you've been looking for in terms of how to be more efficient in the world, how to be an entrepreneur, how to write a book, whatever it is. You don't want to verbally limit yourself, reclaiming that which you already know. So reclaiming it meaning that you're no longer going to feel held back by this talent that you have that you're really scared to bring out into the world because you don't think it'll be resourceful. Bring it out to the marketplace. See if people are interested. Your relationships are either upgrading or they're falling away. And embracing what's better for you is the higher expression, not what you want it to be. Life is proving to you situations, people, the world, the food, the way our rents are going up. Those things are very apparent. It's very easy to see what's happening and going on around there. Don't be eluded when it comes to your relationship. It applies to the same. It applies in the same way. So if these people are showing themselves to you over and over again in the same ways that don't make you feel good, I'm sorry, but these are the followaways. These are not the upgrades. Gemini, hey, it is nice to know you. You are ruled by sign of Mercury, and Mercury is moving into the sign of Sagittarius, so this is really, really cool for you. It's a great time to explore history, okay? It's a good time to look for knowledge outside of your normal resources. If you're thinking about taking a little trip, if you're thinking about going to the beach, boom, there you go. That is a time, that is a thing you should be thinking about. And it could really alleviate some tension, alleviate some stuff from your mind. And instead of taking in the trends, maybe you take in a little bit more history. Maybe educating yourself on where the trend even came from, I think might be of benefit. So if you see something around you that feels awry, instead of, TikToking the hell out of that one thing that's happening right now, go back in history and see how it's happened. And it'll give you some restitution. It'll make you go, oh, okay. Gemini, when it comes to your relationships, your words are your friends and should not be your weapon right now. You have to use your positive vibes to attract better people with solid things to say. And that will help you attract the intelligence that you're looking for. Cancer. Cancer, you're ruled by the moon, and soon is going to be moving through and meeting with the sun in Scorpio. And this is kind of the highlight of the week for you. You could be really in your feelings, and you know inherently what's going on before it even comes about. Your intuition is at its highest expression right now, and listening and being well aware of reading the room and intuiting things before they blow up is kind of like a psychic thing that you've got going on right now. So insights that feel otherworldly, that feel very soulful, feel very right, are likely to happen. In relationships, you're not taking any crap. It's either be positive or get left behind, because at this stage in the game, it's just been a lot, okay? Ready to move on, ready to stop crying so much if you have been, and or maybe just angry. So you either need to be the person that's being positive, or you need to be around people who are expressing this. This is for Leo. Leo, what's up, fam? You're ruled by the sun. And you're realizing that things aren't the way you need them to be. You are, with this square going on for you, in a natural sense, you could be feeling like, how am I gonna change this? Because whatever I'm doing is not working, but I still have this like purpose. I still wanna do this thing. And I'd say that if you invest in your shortcomings, you're gonna reclaim that creative spirit. So whatever you're feeling like you're falling down on, whatever you feel is lacking in your life, you need to invest in that. Investing comes in so many different forms and fashions. It comes through applying your resources in order to do it, applying your time by learning. You can buy a book, you can buy a service, you can have a one-on-one with a coach, you can come up with a plan, you can go on YouTube. There are many different ways to learn to fill the shortcomings, because your creative spirit needs to be enlivened if you're going to get through the winter. You don't want to fall. So that is what this week is trying to bring to you. When it comes to your relationships, you'll need to take responsibility for your role in the relationship dynamics. Come to grips with the changes that have occurred in a lot of those relationship dynamics. Don't blame yourself. Don't take it personal. Just realize this is part of the game, and shit's gonna get more positive as we roll out. You know what I mean? But if you take responsibility, then if a conversation needs to come up later, which it probably will, you're equipped. You have the language for it because you've already thought about it. Virgo, you are my favorite people. You're ruled by Mercury. And this gives you the ability to see the details and to be very critical and analytical about things. So this critical nature is because you want to have something for later. You don't want to waste your time. And you know this about yourself. So stop feeling guilty about it. If you are who you're going to be. Instead, unlock the superpower that is helping you to elevate your life by looking at your finances and not going overboard. You could be investing in things and or applying yourself and not paying attention to what's bleeding out the back. And so that's what I mean about giving yourself the opportunity to be critical about those things, to realize who you are, and maybe reorient your plan. When it comes to your relationships, you could be the saving grace in a conflict, and you could devise a truce that upgrades the way you interact. So you could come up against some energy, have the opportunity to turn that around, and boom, it's a relationship that's much different and feels better to the soul. Libra. Venus is in your sign this month, and so it's a time to shine. And this week, you are going to probably have a lot to showcase. This week could be financially really good for you. In some aspects, you could be receiving more. Someone could be giving you more. You could be stepping into a role where you can make more. So when it comes to resources, it looks like there's a little bit of a higher expression going on where you're going to get more of what you're looking for, which is really exciting. When it comes to relationships, while you set out to go get more in life, while that go-getting is having its way with you and you're having a blast, you'll need to drop back into your relationships from time to time, because you tend to get kind of whisked away and then kind of forget about everyone else. They're like, wait, I want to know about you. And so while there needs to be a separation so that you can get things done, remember your friends, remember the people who got you there, remember your family, because they'll help you keep grounded and bring you back down to earth when you get too high up there. Hey Scorpio, you're ruled by the planet Pluto. And with the sun and the moon meeting for you this week, you can see the facade of your environment, what people are telling you, and what you've always followed. So you might be able to just kind of see underneath every crevice of the couch, of underneath the rug. You don't even have to lift it. It is just obvious to you. However, I'm asking that you not get lost in the depth so much that it leads you to negativity. It leads you focusing on the ugliness of the world. Instead, you should and move towards being an agent of what to do about it. You guys are the activists of the astrological wheel, along with Mars, Aries, and Libra. And so if there is something that you can really do about it, it is using your voice, it is using your resources, it is using your way to turn up to positivity instead of getting kind of locked in the depth, because it'll pull you down and keep you there, right? And you want to come up and out of it. When it comes to your relationships, if the communication doesn't look like an evolution of where you need to be, then you might need to consider therapy. You might need to consider a third party, a medium, somebody else that's going to come in and kind of help you reorient the way that you speak to each other, the way that you are internalizing each other's experiences. It could be really difficult because everybody's having something in particular, and you can't always consider other people and their feelings, but maybe that's what's being asked of you. So considering alternative methods to reconnecting with your people, whether romantic or otherwise, is really important to have more steadiness with that. Hey Sagittarius, nice to know you. You are ruled by the Jupiter, and you could be focused on work or making something that gets you noticed. You remember that you shouldn't forget to tell people what you're working on. Remember that the beginning process of creativity is just as interesting as being the fully formed and functioning, polished person that you are. You are always going to be building on yourself. You're never going to be fully satisfied. So there's no point in keeping all of that to yourself. Just do it. If you're in a relationship or are dealing with relationship dynamics, you're likely to cooperate. And if you're looking for someone, you're going to need to look outside of your normal route. So traveling could be an interesting way, and just kind of engaging in interesting conversations with people outside of your normal realm, commenting on something, putting yourself out there just to say something. This might really kind of give you the opportunity to meet somebody nice. You are ruled by Saturn, and Saturn has come out of retrograde most recently on the 4th. So things can feel a little less helpless, even though they are a little out of whack. I just want you to remember that your education is always the gateway to achieving the more that you want in life, whether it be financially, whether you want that authority, be that person that people come to, a status, that level of security. It's educating yourself so that you can get there. So don't be afraid to invest yourself that way, so that people will not forget you, will not forget your name. In regards to relationships, you need to dissolve that which does not serve you and work on what gives you joy, ease, and true partnership. Aquarius, hello. You are ruled by the planet Uranus. Do keep yourself focused on how to serve your social circles, your friends, attending to the things. The darkness of the world will fly right over you. It'll miss you. I know that things are difficult with finances. I know that communication is looking to be in a better space, and maybe it hasn't been. Maybe it's still trying to work itself out. In any case, I see some really higher expressions of you getting along with that this week, especially if you're focused on the larger aspects. If you're focusing on the bird's eye view. But when it comes to your relationships, they're experiencing an upgrade. Let's just put that out there. And they have been for a while, whether good, bad, or indifferent, right? So right now it's about longevity and who you're going to take with you, because not everybody can come. Isn't that sad? You want all your people to join you, rally up, be conscious with you, have, these really up-leveled conversations, and not everybody can be there with you. And it's not your job to educate them or make sure that they come. You'd be exhausted if you tried. There's some people that's worth the effort, and so you'll need to discern who those people are. Pisces, you are ruled by Neptune, and Neptune has been in Pisces for a while. What I see this week is your children or the youth in your life are going to be directing themselves a little more. So, they might feel inclined to do things for themselves because they are too transforming and are moving into kind of a different realm, especially if you're a teacher, if you're anybody who's around young people. It's really important to show them how to help themselves, show them how to find the resources, show them how to play. So that way it kind of gives you a little bit of autonomy, because let's face it, this week is also poking at you and saying, hey, you can't do everything for everyone. You can't be all the things at once, even though, you're kind of good at it. You need to really delegate. You need to give yourself space and teach others what you know how to do so that you can free up some stuff for yourself, because you deserve it. You know what I mean? You work hard. And so if you're in a relationship and you're seeing someone and maybe they're ghosting you, they're not giving you respect, they're not showing up, you need to stand up for that. You need to stand up for yourself. It's not a time to be passive and see what's going to happen, or hope what's going to happen, or hope that thing that is in your mind that you think this whimsical thing that might happen. I'll just say that it's probably not going to plan for it to not happen that way. And what you deserve is to apply these words and say, hey, I'm done, and know what's going to happen instead of seeing what's going to happen. And that's it. Made it to the end of the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all of you, and thank you.